Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching me from. This is Doreen, the therapist again. Today I have a very interesting topic, a topic that very many people have asked me to share about, a topic that is very sensitive and hard for most parents. And I want us to discuss about sexuality and sex education for children, specifically 0 to 8 years children. It's a very sensitive topic, a topic that most people are very uncomfortable navigating with their children, a topic that if mommy is asked a question, they'll say go ask your daddy, or if the dad is asked, they'll say go ask your mother about that. It's something that we all tend to throw the ball towards the other person to discuss about the issue. And so today I want you to come along with me as I teach you how to navigate the topic and how you can actually talk about sex and sexuality with very young children. And it is very helpful because in the world that we are living today, if you don't give information to your child, they will get information. The problem is they might get the wrong information because mostly they'll get it from other children who probably are misinformed as well, or they'll get it from online and maybe it's not the right thing. Most probably it won't be the right thing. So it's always good for us as parents or as guardian or caregivers to be the ones that are discussing this topic with our children as the first point of reference, so that if they have a question later or if they get to hear of something from someone else, then they have somewhere they can come and ask. They have someone to come and ask or confirm with the information that they have had. And the best thing about sex education or sexuality is ensuring that you have created an open relationship with your children, one that there's a very good rapport, that your child can actually walk to you and ask you of if they are curious of something without being uncomfortable or feeling threatened that they are coming to ask you the information. And so when you're talking about sex education, another thing you need to note is that it doesn't have to be planned time. Like, you don't have to set a certain time. This is the time we're going to talk about this hot topic. It will scare off your children. It will make them uncomfortable. It might make them even close. They won't be open to what you want to say to them during the discussion. So sexuality or sex education is a topic that should be done while doing other things. It doesn't have to be planned. You can pick it from any point. Like, if you meet a pregnant lady on the way, you can start the discussion there. Maybe you're in the farm with your child, you can do the discussion there. Or you're doing a few other things in the house with them, you can start from there. Or you're walking them to school or driving them to school, that's another opportunity for you to discuss sexuality. And so I will divide it into different age groups because every age has a different appropriate education for them, the sex education for them. And because you will not talk to a 2-year-old what you will talk to a 8-year-old, that's why I had to divide them into sessions. And so it's very important as parents to know that you have all the tools in you. You have the ability to actually discuss these things with your children. It's just that you're a bit scared or uncomfortable. You can do this. That's why we are trying to get to learn together on how to go about this. So as I said, there are various things that you need to consider when you're doing sex education. The first is the age of your child. Acknowledge that different ages have different understanding of what you want to teach them. So it's good for you to understand what age is your child and what are we discussing at this age. Another thing to note is that children are different. There are children that are very mature at a very young age. Their maybe IQ is so high, they can understand very many things, and there are others that are a bit delayed or a bit slow. So as a parent, understand your child. Is this what is appropriate for my child at this time? You are the one that knows best because you know your child better. So it's good to understand the age of your child. Another thing, first acknowledge that your child knows some things. Most of them are very curious. They have either heard of something or they have seen something. They might know something. So it's good to always ask, what do you think? Or what do you think babies come from? Ask something like that. Or how do you think you came about to this world? Something, just be inquisitive of your child. Let them tell you what they know first before you give them information. Another thing, it's always good to use the correct words when you're talking to your child. Don't use symbols or words that we use, like here in Kenya people say susu or dudu. No, use the correct words. If it is the sex organ of a man, if it is a penis, call it a penis. If it is the vagina of the vulva of the lady, call it that. Let the children know the appropriate words for the parts of the body. And another last thing that you need to know before we start, it's that it's when a child has a disability, it's good as a parent to understand that they are the same with these other children. It's just that it could be different because probably there's a bit of delay. So if you have a child that has a disability, also understand where they are in terms of their cognitive, how are they able to understand things or their emotions. Get to understand how can you go about it, and just make it navigate towards the conversation, make it appropriate for them if they have a disability. So yeah, so let's start, and we start with the different ages. And the first age group I will start with is 0 to 2 years. I know when I mention 0 to 2 years, you're like, oh my God, how do I talk about sex education with a 2-year-old? Yes, sex education at 0 to 2 years can happen. At this age, of course, most of the children, they have no idea of what sex is. So at this age, what we are doing, or what we are trying to start, is to start the conversation early, so that the latter ages will be easier for us to pick up from where we started. So at 0 to 2 years, when you're bathing them, use these times for bathing or dressing, and talk about body parts, like the way we actually do it. Most parents do it. We talk about, this is my head, this is my eye, these are my eyes, this is my nose, but we don't go deeper. We shower them. We don't tell them, this is your penis or this is the vulva. I know it feels very uncomfortable, but it's very appropriate, and trust me, it will help you later on. So at 0 to 2 years, we are trying to name the body parts. And in terms of sex education, what we want to do is to name the sex organs, or the sexual, the genitalia in general. So when you're bathing them, when you're dressing them, you can tell them, this is the penis, this, the way you're just telling them, this is my hand. Yes, that is what you do at that age in terms of sexuality or sex education. Then we go to 2 to 3 years. 2 and 3-year-old are very curious. These are children that have already noted that they have maybe something that the others don't have. If it is a brother, he has noted that my sister doesn't have what I have. Or when I go to pee, I stand and my sister always has to sit on the potty. So they already have in their mind questions. So at this age, 2 to 3-year-old, it's the time now you let them ask such things. If they have come to you asking, mommy, why does so and so sit and I have to stand when I'm peeing? Now that's where you start. That's where you tell them, it's because you have a penis and she has a vulva, and if she stands, she's going to mess herself, because it's not like yours. Now you see, you have already shown them, boys have this, or girls have, some people have this, or some people have this other kind of. Our bodies are different. That is what you do at 2 to 3-year-old. At this age, because of the curiosity, you can use diagrams, you can use books. There are many books. I can mention a few. There is Everybody Got a Bottom by Tess Rowley. You can check it out. It's something that can help you navigate this discussion. You can also do Hair in Funny Places by Babette Cole. These books can help you at this age, because they have diagrams, they have ways to help you with the discussion, and it's very appropriate for this age. Then we go to the 4 to 5-year-old. 4 to 5-year-old, most of them are very articulate with their words. Most of them know parts of their bodies very well. So now this is where you go a bit deeper. Get to understand, do they know what they have? If it is if they have a penis, or they have a vulva or a vagina, do they know what part they have in terms of, do they know their identity? That is good, because now you are able to go deeper with them. If they already know a part, that they have this penis or they have the vagina, now you can make them understand that now that you have a penis, or maybe you're of this sexuality, there's something that comes out of you called a sperm, and that is you make it like a seed, because at this age they already know that you can plant a seed and it will bring forth a plant. So you make them know that you have a seed, that if it mixes with something else that comes from a girl that has a vagina, that the girl has another seed called an ovum. So when the both of them, or it's not a seed, the ovum it's an egg. So let them know when the two of them meet or join, that's where the baby comes from. I know it seems complicated, but you see, the good thing about sex education, make it as short as possible. So the fact that you've just mentioned an egg and a seed and them meeting and making a baby, you've already done so well, because now it has already created something in their mind. And tomorrow or another day when you're discussing, try and repeat it. Let them know that there is an egg and there's a seed that meet and form a baby, because at this age they already know that babies are made from maybe daddy and mommy. But how do they come about? Tell them daddy has a seed that is called a sperm and mommy has an egg that is called an ovum. When the two meet, they form now the baby. That way it is now very easy. By the time they're reaching to 6 to 8 years old, now this is where you make them, as you had already started the conversation earlier, you make them know. Now you see, when the two of them met and they formed the baby was put, because you will ask them, where do you think babies are made from? They'll tell you, babies come from mommy's tummy, which is not very wrong, but let them know they come from mommy's tummy, but at a place called the uterus. When the two meet, the egg and the seed, when they meet, they form now a baby that is formed in mommy's uterus. And now mommy's uterus is where a baby grows, and that's where now you are able to form all your parts and you come out as a full as a baby. Yeah. So 6 to 8 years old, as I said, always ask what they know, because at this time they know so much, because you know these days children have really been exposed to so much. So many children know many things and most of it is not right. So at 6 to 8 years, try and find out what do you know. And at this time, if you see that their IQ is high, especially at around 7 to 8 years now, or let's say 8 years going to 9, now this is the time you mention sexual intercourse. The reason we are doing this is because they have already heard about it. Mostly they are even playing what we call here in Kenya cha mama and cha baba. That is where they play mama and baba. And the problem is, if you have not mentioned the word sex or sexual intercourse at this point, they go out there, and because the other children probably that are exposed, they end up doing things. And as a clinician, I've been seeing very many cases of children that have been assaulted by their fellow children, even not knowing that they're actually assaulting their friends, because they are thinking they are playing something and it's not the right play. It's what they have heard or they have seen on TV or they have been told by their other friends. So at 8 going to around 9 years now, when the child is able to understand the depth of these words, talk about sexual intercourse. Let them know that sexual intercourse is when now the penis and the vagina meet. And it is something that happens between adults that want it. Both of them have consented for it. They both want to do it. It is not something for children to do. That is the point that you have to put across for them to understand, whether they are playing, whether someone wants to do anything with them. Let them know that sexual intercourse, it's when the vagina and the penis meet, or the sexual organs of a male and a female meet, or it is when both of them agree that they want to do it. It is not something that is to be forced, and it is not something to be done by children. Let them understand that it is something they can do, but when they are older. when they understand what it is and when it is appropriate for them. This helps because it will make them understand, then it means nobody should touch me in an appropriate way. At this age, you are able to even discuss that nobody should ever see their nakedness, like nobody should undress them, nobody should make them go in a way they don't want sexually, because you've already put a stamp on the fact that sexual intercourse is between adults that have agreed to do it. This will help because it will even bring down sexual abuses, because the children will know that my vagina should not be touched by anybody's penis until I'm old enough to want to be touched that way. And as I conclude, because I know it must have been heavy what we are discussing today, I want us to remember a few things. Always remember to keep your child safe in terms of online. The sex education and sexuality online is very complicated. Please, let's keep our children safe online. Another thing, as I've mentioned, make sexuality and sex education topics very simple and short and precise. Let them not be something heavy on them. Do it frequently. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Let them understand more and more. And always keep this conversation private. Let them know that we are discussing this between me and you. You can be comfortable. I will not tell it to anyone if you're not comfortable discussing it with anyone else. But if possible, if it is a family setup, it's good to have the discussion when both parents are there. This will make the child feel free and safe and know that it is a topic that we can actually discuss, all of us. And so when I have an issue, I can always go maybe to mommy or to daddy, and it is okay to do so. The last thing, make it as interesting as possible. Depending on the age of the child, you can use songs, you can use books, you can use diagrams and pictures. You can use things that are interesting to the mind of a child. Sing that they should not be touched. Sing them, these are my private parts, my mouth, my breast, my buttocks, my penis and vagina. Let them know the words that are true. That way they will not be abused. That way they will get to be very comfortable on such topics. And so if there's a bad information or a misinformation, they can always come to you. Bye-bye. I hope you've gotten something from this topic. And as I always say, remember, Jesus is the answer to everything. And it is good to base even this sexuality and sex education to the Word of God, because we cannot protect our children from this world, but we can teach them what is in God's Word about sex. That way they have the baseline or the basis of or they have that foundation that is correct, that will keep what is corrupted of the world away from them. Bye bye.